what we witnessed here recently in this country is nothing but a disturbance in the soul. It's a disturbance in the soul. Yet another disturbance in the soul. And much to believe in America, much to have faith in, much to have confidence in, and at the same time, much to disturb us and alarm us. And every society has their troubles. But America is a discussion on the values and devaluation of a human soul. The covenant between the African American people and Allah and God. You say Allah, speaking of God, the God, not Muslim God or the God for only Muslims. There's no such thing. No such entity. God Almighty, the merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer, the Lord creator. Highly glorified and praised is he. Nothing is his partner in his rule of all that he has created. And we do not join anything with him in our regard for him, in our worship of him. This is who we're speaking of. The African American people in their relationship with God was formed because of a singular concern that there was no support or help for their human life moving in the direction toward the fulfillment that God intended for human life, that there was no support for that in this American environment. And that relationship or covenant between the African American people and God was formed by the recognition in the African American soul that God is the only friend. And the crying out of the African American people was of such purity and of such sincerity that God obligates himself, bound himself to that people in a very special way. That's not to say that God wouldn't have helped them, or if we can say, yeah, us, just upon the human creation itself. That's not to say that that wasn't the case. That is the case. That was the case, and that is the case. But I'm speaking of something very unique and special. That God responded to this singular appeal in the soul of the African American people. And our people took a covenant with God that if he would protect their integrity as a human creation and support them, assist them in coming into the fullness of their human existence or human life, that they would be a model people. And the requirements of that relationship, even if the people themselves forget those requirements, they're still held to that obligation, because God does not forget. And the extent to which the African American people have neglected the requirements of that covenant explains their condition. And that is not absent from or separated from even the Muslim African American community. We would point the finger, or we might look at non-Muslim African Americans and think that something is missing from their life and that they have neglected the covenant. Well, you have neglected the covenant too. And how is that? How have you neglected it? Or I'm speaking not of you all in this class necessarily, but I mean our group, our people. How have we neglected it? Because we have lost the sacred connection by way of our own neglect and weakness. We have the best of us, in too many ways, have permitted the worst of us to prevail in their reasoning for what our life should be. We have permitted it. We have not challenged their reasoning as Abraham challenged the reasoning of those in his society. We have not looked carefully, earnestly, or honestly at the leadership of our community. We might express some dissatisfaction, but the way that we express it is in the category of triviality. We're not pointing to the core interest or the core issue, the core matter. Something has been neglected in our life by us that prevent us from having the strength to straighten the affair. When we see leadership attempting to manipulate us